All right, now we are live. All right, now let's try and click on here so I can share this around everyone. Um, Here's our copy to share this. I pause this for share copy. Pasting this in here. Talking all things Brisbane Lions. Um, Put this in here. So it's a bit more of a quicker one today because obviously the game's on soon as well too. So we've got one in already. So hopefully they are well. Who is that watching? Just putting this in here. Here we go. Then Brisbane Lions. Uh, where should I put that into side chats? Um, uh, did I put that in here? Where did I put that into? And also I put the thing in here as well too. Um, Switch now. There, there. Next, post that. This original post. Oh, get in there. Hopefully you are well. It's a bit of a quicker one. It's Easter this weekend, obviously, so a few people are on holidays as well too. So normally we have our guests on as well too, but we'll have some next week as well too. But make sure we are all good to go. And here we go. All right, so just a lot of a quicker one today. Let me just get our team. Let me get our AFL fantasy up as well, and Super Coach as well too. Super Coach is doing all right this year. How are you guys going in your Super Coach fantasy? My Super Coach top 4,000 fantasy doing a bit rubbish. I know Real Dream Team's not too bad as well too. Actually, I've got my fantasy stuff on this page already, don't I? Yep, there. All right, there, and then let's go to the Brisbane Lions AFL fixtures. Brisbane Lions fixtures. It was interesting, yeah, because we played Bulldogs last week, obviously at the Gather Round. That was actually pretty good. I had tickets to that, but I sold mine. Well, gave it away to another mate that went over there. Great comeback as well too. It was good to see the how we came out in the second half. It was always the second half. We always do something. First half is always a bit quiet, but we're down by 39 points during the game, and then managed to get back. But I did have a funny feeling this last week and this week, considering we have won the last 18 or 20 before coming into this game. I was thinking maybe we might lose a game, but because obviously it's very hard to keep winning. We have got Collingwood tonight. This is on a Thursday. My hair's coming off there. We got Collingwood tonight, so that's going to be interesting as well to watch. Collingwood are pretty good as well too. Obviously, they don't travel that much, so when they do travel, they are quite successful because I had a stat today about Scott Pendlebury, who debuted before Ashcroft was actually born. So I made a little funny comment and said Ashcroft's already travelled more than Pendlebury has, but that was quite funny. I thought, but it was a pretty interesting stat as well too. But last week, yeah, it was good to see Morris kick 4 goals and also Hipwood get 5 goals in the second half. He kind of pretty much changed the game, got the game back on our track as well too. After not taking only one possession in the first half. So it's definitely what was said, Chris Fagan, what said to him was quite impressive and was a big turnaround, that's for sure. Also, it was also good to see McCluggage, my boy, my favourite player. He's been doing all right last 3 games in a row, best on grounds for sure. And Bailey does that pretty snap-on goal, and Calamar Cheese goal, drop punt. I don't know how that wasn't goal of the week nomination because I thought that was quite clever to do, and a lot of people do snapping around. You see a lot of players snap, and he was actually did a straight drop punt kick straight through on the angle on the pocket there. It kind of reminded me of the Dom Sheed pocket just when Eagles won the premiership as well too against Collingwood. It kind of reminded me of that, and it went straight through the middle, which was actually pretty good. So we have got that was the Bulldogs game. Yeah, he's come back. It was at Norwood as well too. A lot of people said it was great to have the gather round in Adelaide, but unfortunately, 3 years straight, Brisbane have not played at the Adelaide Oval. They played 2 games against North out of Adelaide Oval, and then they played Bulldogs out of Adelaide Oval as well at Norwood. So it was a bit more smaller ground. Seemed to suit the Lions a bit better, but still, it would have been nice to actually play on the Adelaide Oval. I mean, they've won the premiership. What else do they need to do to get a game at Adelaide Oval? So maybe, uh, and you know that day they had Carlton and West Coast and Melbourne Essendon on that same day at Adelaide Oval. And thinking West Coast and Carlton probably was not the best match to look at, and I feel that the Dogs and Brisbane had one of the best games of the round as well too. So that was on the Saturday. And then obviously the Sunday was quite a shocking, crazy game for Hawthorn. They got absolutely smashed, which was a bit, didn't expect that to happen. But yeah, it was quite a couple of one-sided games as well too. But as I say, the Dogs and Brisbane game was probably the highlight of the round. It was quite close, back and forward kicking, momentum shifts as well too, which was pretty crazy. And Sam Darcy, pretty dangerous for Bulldogs, started cramping up in the third quarter, so he came off for a bit. But yeah, it was quite good to see, kind of like the history of the footy back then, because they had the key defender on the key forward. Don't often see that much anymore these days. But Sam Darcy and Harris Andrews, I think, both won it for their teams respectively. They both did well. Harris Andrews did some intercepts, but then also Sam Darcy got some goals the other way as well too. So I was kind of worried about Sam Darcy, but obviously Brisbane did a little shift around because they put Harris Andrews on Sam Darcy, and he didn't really play his usual intercept role as much as what he normally likes to do. But I think that's what I had to do because yeah, Sam Darcy's in great form, so I had to match up the best defender and best forward. So it was quite good. It's kind of like, as I say, the old style football. Hopefully that comes back again. I've been listening to all the other former players as well too. They've been saying the same thing, that that's what's been lacking these days, that you don't have a genuine forward. And obviously you notice like this year, because Danaher's gone, a lot of the forwards that have stepped up as well too. Generally, maybe not forward as well too. And look at Zach Bailey. He stepped up. He's been midfield before. Now he's up at the forward. He stepped up. Archie's doing still good, pretty good. And then obviously you had the additions of Ashcroft this year as well too. He's been joined the team quite well, and he's actually joined quite good. Be interesting to see if Sam Day can actually kick a goal, because he hasn't kicked a goal just yet for us, but it'll be nice to see him get a goal. Um, he's he's still finding his feet, I think, but yeah, so it's be interesting. But I do like Morris. He's sort of been a good filler in for Danaher, that's for sure. Up forward, he's got 4 goals and about 11 goals all year this year so far. So he started quite good, and he's still a young player, only 19, so he's got plenty of years ahead as well too. And depending if Oscar Allen comes over to Brisbane next year, he was keen as well, saying the other day to a few of the my mates who played for Eagles as well too. They were saying that Oscar Allen's keen to come to Brisbane. So if he comes to Brisbane, then we'll have another forward up forward. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he'll be able to fit, because yeah, our forward line's doing quite good, and obviously we've still got the returns of Dodie and Coleman and Gardner and all that to come back. Obviously McCarthy's still out for the whole season, but he aim to come back at the end of the year. And I'm not too sure about Starcevic. He's yeah, with all his head knocks, probably not the best to rush him back. Just take his time and see how he goes. So obviously we've still got a few players to come back, and now obviously the fantasy and the DPPs have dropped for Super Coach and Fantasy and Real Dream Team. That Ashcroft now is a forward, and also Jasper Fletcher's now a defender as well too. So now that Starcevic is out a bit longer, then Fletcher could be a nice, unique defender as well. You could put him, because he's got that defense status. The last few weeks he's been playing defense for us. Obviously, he's been doing the halfback role for us, and obviously Levi Ashcroft. He's been starting in the midfield, but now he's obviously doing a bit up forward as well too. So that's why he got the added forward position. So if you're doing draft and if you have them, or if you're doing your fantasy or super coach, then you can put them up forward or defense. Obviously Dunkley and Neil and McCluggage. McCluggage I got in super coach the last couple of weeks ago, and he's been on fire. Neil and Dunkley, well, Neil is more prone to getting the tag, obviously, whereas Dunkley, he's more the one that tags other opposition players. So he does a bit of the defensive mid role as well too. So He's probably one to look forward to as well. He's pretty consistent with his scoring. It's always between 80 to about 120 or so. So about yeah. Oh, I forgot to put it in here as well too. Hang on, let me put this in here. I totally forgot. My bad. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you want to have comments or that, you can always talk about anything as well you want. Now, what else was I saying? So you can Dunkley, as I say, it's tonight's going to be interesting. Well, the Thursday game, which is tonight, prize, because Dacos also will probably need to get shut down as well too, because he's quite dangerous. And Sarbottom, he's been playing well this year, so he's probably my favourite Collingwood player, but he sets it up quite well for Collingwood. So we'll probably have to shut him down. Dunkley and Berry usually do the tagging role, so probably one of them will swap around each bit to try and shut him down. Membry is out for Collingwood, so that will help. But DeGoey comes back in, so DeGoey obviously can be a bit dangerous as well too. And up from the ACT. Oh, yep. So someone's from the Canberra going to the game. Awesome. That's pretty cool. Now, what was I saying? Fantasy was I talking about? Yes. Dunkley. Yeah. He's got a break even at the moment of 130, so he got a bit cheaper at the moment. Lockie Neal's break of 89, so he's still roughly pretty cheap. McCluggage, I should say. McCluggage, Neal, Dunkley are probably the main three ones to get for the midfielders. You got Ashcroft you can put up forward. Will Ashcroft's doing all right still as well too. Zorko, he's probably down on form a little bit with fantasy wise. And plus obviously Coleman and Dode's coming back. So I haven't got Zorko this year, but I had him last year. So you probably want to get him. Well, probably just wait until Coleman comes back and see what he does, because he averages 82 with Coleman and he averages 110 without Coleman. So there's a bit of that. Now, let's talk a bit about our fixturing as well too. So where's our fixtures? I'll put that here. Brisbane Lions fixtures. So we did. So the last 8 games in a row, we've obviously had to set a bit of a record, because the last 8 games in a row, while trailing at halftime. So while trailing at halftime, so obviously you don't count the Sydney game, don't count the Richmond game, and don't count the 2 losses last year, because the 2 losses last year were up by at halftime. But the last 8 games in a row, we have won while trailing at halftime. So I did mention that on my post last week as well too. So on the Facebook there, I posted that. So and then the AFL sort of copied my stat. But yeah, that's a pretty cool stat though, that's for sure. And we obviously when you have won the last 10 in a row as well too, when you think about it too, because after losing, but then we won the finals plus 5 as well too, and to be the first time in our Brisbane Lions history is 5-0, so it's a pretty good start. But obviously, as we all know, like, you can only keep winning for so long, and there's always going to be a loss here and there. But we got Collingwood this week, obviously on Thursday, so that was a tough one. But that's at the Gabba, so hopefully we can actually. We've lost the last. We've actually overall we got a better record overall against Collingwood, winning 2 premierships. They won 1, of course, and then we've got a better head-to-head. But the last 3 games they've won in a row, so hopefully we can stop that. We got St Kilda then the week after. That's down in Melbourne. Last year, St Kilda was beating everyone in the second half of the season, and the only team they lost to was Brisbane. So that gives us a bit of confidence. Then we got Gold Coast. So if Collingwood win, not Collingwood, if we beat Collingwood and if we beat St Kilda, and then if Gold Coast beat Richmond and they beat Sydney, then our Q clash, that would be quite a big Q clash then. 2 undefeated sides, and then one team will have to lose or maybe a draw. So Gold Coast are looking much more better this year as well too. So usually in the past, our Q clashes has been 1-1 each season. Like, they seem to get up for at least one of them, and they've won. But yeah, it'll be a bit more trickier this year. Then after that is North Melbourne, then Melbourne, and then Hawthorn. So Hawthorn down in Melbourne, or Tassie, I should say. No, North Melbourne were playing in Tassie. That's right. And so North Melbourne and Melbourne should hopefully can beat those teams. But Hawthorn is a bit of a tricky one as well too, because we haven't beaten them since 2019. So that could be a bit of a toughie as well too. We got Essendon, Adelaide. So Essendon, they're 50-50. That could be beat them. Adelaide. They're playing in Adelaide, so that's on my birthday, 6th of June. So they better win for my birthday. I don't like losing on my birthday. But yeah, Adelaide are a bit more tougher this year as well too. So Adelaide and Gold Coast, they've definitely have improved a lot this year. GWS, they're also a toughie, and Geelong. So that month is quite tough actually. So in June we got to play Adelaide, GWS, and Geelong. So kind of like we did at the start of the season when we had to play Sydney, Geelong, and Bulldogs. So they were pretty tough as well. So and then we go Port Adelaide, Carlton, Bulldogs, Gold Coast again, Collingwood again, Sydney again, and then Fremantle, and then Hawthorn again. So people asking me about the boat as well too. There will be boat cruise again at the end of the season as well too for the Fremantle Brisbane game here in WA. That's on the 16th of August that weekend, so it'll be one of those days. Most likely be a Sunday the game, and then probably like a Saturday we can do the boat cruise, or on the same day we can do the boat cruise. But we'll keep everyone posted in that as well too. So make sure you are following the WA Brisbane Lions supporters group as well too. Also, we'll do have some guests as well too over the coming weeks as well too. Obviously, because of Easter this weekend has been a bit hard to get a few guests because they are all on holidays and coming back from gather round, and obviously the game's on Thursday night, so it's quite full on, so it's quite busy. But next week we should be able to get. We've got a couple of guests that are keen to come on as well to talk about Brisbane and talk about the team as well, how they're going. Also, we'll get a few players as well throughout the season as well too. So some past players leading up to the finals as well too. Now that's way ahead. But yeah, as I say, what was I going to say? Easter this weekend too. So I do hope. G'day, Attila. Hopefully you are going well. So Attila has joined in. How are you? Hopefully you are well. Yeah, it's just a bit of a quite a podcast, as I should say. Normally, as I say, I'll be interviewing someone else and talking, but it's sort of just a sort of like a talk to myself or talk to you guys as well too. So whatever you want to talk about, that's fine. And as I say, the Easter is coming up this weekend, so I do hope everyone has a good Easter. However you celebrate it with your friends, family, or a long weekend. I kind of like. I'm good. Thanks. I'm good. Yeah, quite good. Quiet but good. Yeah, quite. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's good that you're doing well. That's good. And we got Collingwood this week, so hopefully, good game tonight. Fingers crossed. Um, yeah, as I was saying, yeah, good thing we play Thursday because that way we can actually spend the weekend like. Hopefully, well, good if we can win tonight would be good. But if we do lose, we can spend it with the family and kind of forget about football for the weekend. Don't have to worry about football. But it's good that we can actually spend time with the family, whatever we want to do with our family. If you go on holidays, if you go on a break as well too, because obviously it's been a few busy months to lead up and now school term, school holidays over here in WA, and I believe over East as well too. You got the school holidays too, so um, I'm sure you have some fun with the family, have some chocolates. I'll be going to a church picnic as well too, so that should be pretty fun. Um, Hope Lions win. Hopefully, since I tipped them, Lions aren't an enemy of mine. Although I'm an Essendon supporter. Oh, nice! You're an Essendon supporter. Oh, sweet. Yeah. So, yeah. I suppose Essendon, you don't like Collingwood, and I find not many teams, not many people do like Collingwood. They normally have the ABC fan, which means anyone but Collingwood, as they say. So, yeah, I think you're. And same whenever Essendon play Collingwood in those Anzac Day games, I'm always Essendon as well too. So I like Zach Merritt too, by the way. Speaking of Essendon, Zach Merritt's my favourite, one of my favourite players from Essendon, and he's always my player that I lock in first with Dream Team as well too, because he's always gets 100 and that, and he's got Eagles this week, so I reckon that you guys will win that, and he should score quite well for you guys. So it's good to have a lot of other supporters as well too that join in on the conversation as well too. So it's good to hear. Yeah. Oh, nice. He's my favorite player as well. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. He's a great captain, and I found at the start of the season he was kind of carrying his team, but the last few weeks Essendon have won those games, which is good. So kind of makes it feel like he's not doing all the work now. So it's good that Essendon's won 3 games now. So is it 2 games or 3 games have they won? Let me have a look. I think they won 2 or 3. Let's have a look. I think didn't they beat Port? I think they beat Port. 2 games, sorry, they've won 2. That's right. So they had the bye. My bad. of course, because they had that Cyclone game they couldn't play. Then they had a bye. So Gold Coast and Essendon are playing at the end of the season. So they're playing that game at the end of the season. So they won 2, lost 2. So yeah, no, they're going not too bad actually. Gold Coast have won 4-0. So that game at the end of this season is going to be quite interesting. At the moment, also, for those that are in Queensland, it's quite interesting. Probably the first time I've seen in a long time, or probably the first time ever, that both Queensland teams, usually Gold Coast usually lose a few at the start, but both Queensland teams are actually top of the ladder. So I did a stat the other day, actually. Let me try and find it. I wrote out a stat about it. Hang on, I put it on our group as well too. So here's an interesting stat that I found. If I can actually read it out, if I can actually get to my, oh, yep, here it is. For the first time since the start of the season, Queensland is the only state to be undefeated, with Brisbane Lions 5-0 and Gold Coast 4-0. All other teams from other states have lost a game, at least a game. Brisbane Lions went 5-0 for the first time in their history. For the record, Queensland 9-0 win percentage 100%, Brisbane and Gold Coast. New South Wales 6-4 win percentage of 60%, Sydney Swans and GWS. South Australia 5-5 win percentage 50%, Port Adelaide and Adelaide. Victoria 21-28 42.8% win with Hawthorn, Collingwood, Geelong, St Kilda, Bulldogs, Essendon, Carlton, North, Richmond and Melbourne. And then WA 3-7 win percentage of 30%, Fremantle and West Coast. So to like I wrote that stat out, so credit to me by that. But yeah, no, it's actually quite interesting because normally, as I say, it's usually Victoria or other states that hang on to the unbeaten record. But to have like a NRL state to actually be undefeated, it kind of promotes AFL a bit more up in Queensland, which is a good thing. So it's good to see the New South Wales and Queensland teams that do quite well because you definitely need to promote it up there as well too. Because when you go to the state as well, they're always talking about rugby as well too. So I find when Brisbane or Sydney or those teams that are quite successful when it comes to grand finals or like the finals and that, it gets everyone excited and talking about the about AFL, which is good. So it's kind of good in that sense as well too. And I find that's what gather around is for. But I think they need to fix up not gather round. The what's it called? The opening round. Opening round. They need to fix that up a bit more better because like gather round, they have all teams play in that weekend. So what they should do, opening round, they should have all teams play as well too. So then you don't have to early buys or stuff like that. And then maybe have like say like 2 games obviously in Queensland, 2 games in New South Wales, 2 games in WA, maybe like a couple of maybe a game up in Northern Territory, game down in Tasmania as well too. Maybe every state can at least get a game, but not South Australia because they got the gather around, and that way it makes it a bit more fair for all teams, especially WA teams, because I live in WA and they travel the most as well too. And I find if they travel the most, that they need a bit of help as well too. I find. Reese, do you like NRL League? Because I follow it. Yeah, I don't mind the NRL. What team do you follow? I'm a Broncos supporter, so the only reason I became a Broncos supporter is because a lot of Brisbane Lions supporters up in Brisbane are Brisbane Broncos supporters because they're just around the corner from the Gabba. Because Suncorp is not too far away, so I'm not a massive follower though of NRL. Like I do tip the tipping, but I don't really do Super Coach or Dream Team or anything like that. But when it comes to AFL or cricket, I work with the Scorchers as well too in the summertime, and I do a lot of cricket with the Dream Team on Super Coach. Same with the fantasy and the AFL. I do fantasy and that like that. So I'd say I'm probably more AFL on cricket, but I like if Brisbane the Broncos are doing all right, I don't mind that, which is good. I'm a Broncos. I like Broncos. I am a Panthers supporter, but not a massive supporter, but a good sport to watch. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, you guys Panthers always seem to win the premiership. They're doing quite well, aren't they? They've had like 4 in a row now. I believe it's 4 on the trot now. So um yeah, good. Yeah, it's interesting because the NRL. Actually, I am going to the State of Origin later this year in Perth. They're coming back to Perth again this year, which is in June. And they're having a dinner as well and a few other things and training as well. So I'll be going to that. And I find Queensland seems to go on holidays when they play here. So hopefully Queensland can actually win a game here. I did go to the State of Origin when it was Thurston's last series back up in Suncorp, and that was really good back in 2015, and Queensland won, so that was actually pretty good as well too. What was I saying? Yes, NRL. The thing is with the NRL, I find that you sort of run in waves, I guess. Whereas AFL, you kind of like they tackle from all sets of directions. So it's two different skill sets. But yeah, you notice the rugby players are a lot more massive, I find, because they got to do the scrum, they got to tackle, they got to get a bit more harder at times. Whereas I find AFL, you can sort of like mark it and chip it and kick away from the opposition a bit more easier. Where obviously you can't really do that in the NRL. So I say, yeah, two different sort of mindsets with the games as well. All right. Oh, people are at the pineapple already. Yeah. Oh, I missed that pineapple. The pineapple is a good bar up in Queensland where people go before the Brisbane games, and yeah, good to see there's a few people up there come from Canberra up for the game tonight as well too. There's a sold out game tonight, so no tickets left. It's good to see. Obviously, it's always sold out when Collingwood play. They always have a massive following as well too. So hopefully we can make some noise as well tonight. Now, what was I going to say? Yeah, so we covered fantasy, we've covered the tipping, we've covered the gather around, we covered that. We covered the preview of this game tonight. Injuries. Let's have a look at our injury update. Let's have a look at Brisbane's injuries, see what we got. I think I've spoken about injuries already, though, but let's double check again. Yeah, so Coleman, another couple of weeks, he should be returning. Lohman, he's still a bit sore, got a week off. Lincoln McCarthy, obviously, he's gone for the season, and Starcevic, we don't know about him at the moment. So Lohman and Coleman will be coming back soon. Where does it say anything about Gardner? There's nothing about Gardner. I don't know what's happened with him. Lohman will miss a third successive match with his niggling ankle injury, missing the chance to face Collingwood at the Gabba Thursday night. In what settled lineup, currently unbeaten after 5 months, it's unlikely Chris Fagan will make any changes, but he has made a change. Sam Marshall is going to be playing. He's a debuting this week as well too. And if I go to the AFL teams, you'll be able to and Tom Doherty will relish getting a second match in the VFL. So Tom Doherty, he's playing in the VFL, which is good. So that'll be good for us. He'll be coming back soon as well too. So that's, as I say, that's why you want to hold off to getting Zorko on your team, because just worried about how he's going to line up. Now let's have a look. Yeah, so we got Tunstall and Marshall in. McLaughlin and Reveal is out. Marshall is obviously a new one. DeGoey and Membry's out for Collingwood, and DeGoey's in for Collingwood. All right, that's pretty much all the preview. Obviously, we got the next week, when after Easter, we will have some more guests on as the program as well too. You can also check out the WA Lions Brisbane Lions supporters group on Facebook there. Also on the fantasy, you can follow my YouTube as well too. We also do have a fantasy podcast as well too, so you can always check that out as well too for your dream teamers out there. And all your footy fans as well too. Hopefully you are have a great Easter coming up. It is Good Friday tomorrow. Have a good time with your family, friends, loved ones there. Have some chocolates as well too. I don't know, if your team loses, just spend time with the family, because I think. Thanks for the preview. I'll sub to you, Reese. Have a good night and go Lions. Thank you, Alida. That's Attila. Thank you for that. All the best with Essendon this week against Eagles over here in WA. I think you guys are going to win as well too. So Essendon are on a good steady this year. Hopefully they can keep it up and make the finals as well too, because it's been a long time since we've seen them, and it'll be good to have them on the finals, and that way we can shut up all that page that keeps going on about it too. So it'll be good that hopefully they can get a win tomorrow. Eagles, as I say, they've been shocking lately. So yeah, I can't see Eagles winning the game at the moment, the way they're playing. So yeah, as I say, back to our Easter wishes, I should say. I don't really want to rubbish any teams here, but yeah, have a good Easter. As I say, if your team wins or loses, just make sure you spend some time with the family as well too. have some chocolates. I'm going, as I say, I'm going to go to church, go to church picnic as well too. So, no matter what you believe, have a fantastic Easter, and hopefully we can get a good win tonight. Good luck to all the teams this weekend. Especially good luck to Brisbane tonight. And you can join in the convos throughout the week and throughout the shows. Good luck and go Lions. Rah.